Boys rescued a wounded she-wolf, and then the unbelievable happened. They say that on New Year's Eve, you can wish for everything. Best friends Sasha and Pasha also wished for a beautiful Christmas tree from the forest, and Pasha was indignant when there was not even a whiff of a Christmas tree in the house. "Where will Santa Claus put the presents?" encouraged his friend Sasha, adjusting his hat with ear flaps. After a pause, Sasha asked, looking at Pasha, "Do you think that parents will scold us badly when they find out that we went into the forest by ourselves to get a Christmas tree?" Pasha looked at him like he was a little boy. "Why would they scold us when the tree will be at home, decorated and beautiful? On the contrary, they will praise us for the surprise we have made them." Sasha liked the arguments of his friend, and he silently smiled and nodded in agreement. Oh, it snowed this year. In some places, the guys fell down above the knee, getting to the cherished Christmas trees. But still, they did not give up their goal, and as true heroes, the polar explorers accomplished the task. And now they were already rosy-cheeked and happy, dragged a small, fluffy Christmas tree, which was supposed to decorate their homes and create the atmosphere of the approaching holiday. Pasha asked, "Sasha, what do you think? What if our parents will see how we tried and give us even cooler presents?" "It would be good," Sasha dreamily stretched out, imagining what he would like to get as a present. Suddenly, his dreams were abruptly crushed by Pasha's back. "What are you doing?" grumbled Sasha unhappily. "Why did you stand there like a stone?" "Look!" Pasha pointed to the direction with his hand, indicating the reason for his sudden stop. Sasha looked attentively and saw a wolf lying motionless under a tree. Is it dead or sleeping? The curious boy immediately left his tree and rushed to take a closer look at the wild animal and wondered. "Are you crazy?" Pasha grabbed him by the sleeve. "What if he's pretending? Now you come close and he'll grab you and drag you away." Sasha shook his head skeptically. "You're like a child. Where have you seen that wolves lure prey? It's clear that he's already dead." Pasha, embarrassed by his comrade, followed his friend to have a closer look at the forest resident. Sitting down over the animal, the boys began to look at it with interest. "Wow, it's alive!" wailed Pasha. "He looked at me!" "Not he, but she," quietly corrected Sasha to his friend. "She's alive. I can see it myself. Look how her paw is torn," he said, and pointed to the wound on the animal's paw. "Maybe that's why she is sick. The infection has begun," he said with a serious look. "Is she going to die now?" Pasha asked, almost crying, looking at the moist eyes of the wolf. "If we leave her here, she will die for sure," Sasha confirmed. Pasha's eyes got rounded. "And where can we take her? Parents will tear our heads off if we bring home a wolf." "Not a wolf, but a she-wolf," Sasha corrected him again. "But yes, for sure they would tear our heads off." But also, the boys could not just leave a dying animal looking at them with the last hope. Suddenly, Pasha had an idea. "Let's take her to an abandoned house," he suggested to Sasha, with sparks in his eyes. "It will be warmer there, and a roof over her head, and we'll be there to carry medicine until she recovers." Sasha's face broke into a satisfied smile. "Great idea," he clapped Pasha on the shoulder, "but how do we carry her there?" He thoughtfully looked at the she-wolf's big body and asked. "But country boys are different from the city boys. They can always make necessary things from the available material, and our heroes had cut down a couple of wide spruce branches and made something like a stretcher. But they had to leave their Christmas trees in the forest because they didn't have enough strength to pull them all at once." "Don't worry, Pasha, we'll come back for them tomorrow, by all means," Sasha reassured him, watching him look round at the trees they prepared. "I'm not worried," Sasha assured him. "I'm not a baby. I can be even without a tree." Looking at the wolf, he added. The she-wolf did not resist at all when the boys dragged her on a stretcher. She seemed to run out of strength, and all she could do was breathe heavily, looking at her rescuers. Now the boys went to the abandoned house every day, visiting their forest ward. Sasha brought the necessary medicine from home, pretending to do his work, asking his mother what to treat the dog with in such cases. The mother was confused with such a question. She asked her son, "Do they train you to be a veterinarian?" When she got another question from him, to which Sasha only smiled and answered, "Well, yes, I will be like you, a veterinarian." He really had a good skill in wound treatment, and he was not afraid to pour medicine into the mouth of the wolf, as if she knew that these little humans were trying to help her. The very next day, she began to eat the food offered to her and drink water. The wound slowly began to heal, and the raptor was already standing on her feet. "It is still not enough vitamins," Sasha said in an important manner, wishing to impress his friend. "Now Mom will bring it from work and I'll give it to her too. You'll see how she will immediately gain strength." Pasha smiled, watching how important his friend wanted to seem, but it did not make him angry at all. The main thing was to make the she-wolf feel better, and they seemed to cope with this task. The she-wolf lived in an abandoned house for almost the entire winter. Fully recovered and having regained her strength with food brought by the boys, she was no longer injured, and she went out at night in the woods in search of food. By the end of the winter, her belly became noticeably larger and more rounded. "Look how we fed her," Pasha said to Sasha with a pleased look. "Aha," he answered skeptically, "or our she-wolf will have babies soon," he gave his expert opinion. After a while, the wolf went away from the abandoned human house, completely dissolved into the endless forest ocean without a trace. The boys were sad because of that. Even their presents for February 23rd were not joyful. But time goes on, and harsh winter was replaced by a gentle spring, inviting the hot summer to the yard, and where summer is, there are daily outdoor fun and hikes. Sometimes from morning till late in the evening, village kids are out in the street, inventing fun and entertainment. So our friends decided to take a long hike to the lake in the woods. They really wanted to go there. They listened to a story of older guys. There are carps bigger than the palm, and they bite relentlessly. You only need to catch it. They were bragging to their younger fellows. But our friends were not lucky. Till the evening, they caught only 3 crucians and a couple of gudgeons. Upset by such fishing, they slowly walked home. "Well, I told you that it was all a lie," grumbled Pasha. "Now we get in trouble at home for being so late." He looked at the setting sun over the horizon. "Come on," Sasha reassured his friend. "Let's take a shortcut across the bog and get home earlier." So decided the brave boys. None of them had ever walked these paths, but being sure of their abilities, they fearlessly went through the muddy places to their home village. The moon was already shining brightly in the sky, watching everything with its yellow eye. And our young comrades were completely lost, having lost their way. And the darkness of night filled them with terror and despair. "It's all your fault," Sasha almost tearfully shouted at Pasha. "Why did we even go through these marshes?" "No, it's your fault. You wanted to go to the forest lake. If it wasn't for you, none of this would have happened at all." The boys were about to have a final quarrel and even a fight, but the piercing howl of the wolf made them forget about their offenses and claims to each other. They huddled close to each other with eyes turned round with terror, waiting for the wolf pack to encircle them and tear them apart like rabbits. But instead, their familiar wolf came out into the meadow, followed by 3 cubs that had grown up. Sasha immediately recognized his old friend. "It's her!" he shouted. Pasha looked at her paw. Pasha also smiled, realizing that it was their lapdog. The raptor approached the boys and sniffed, wagging its tail as if to greet old friends. The cubs hesitated to approach these strange 2-legged creatures, watching everything from the sidelines. If the moon knew how to be surprised, we probably would have read it on its glowing disk that night. The 2 boys, with fishing rods on their shoulders, kept pace with the she-wolf walking in darkness. Now she was like their eyes and ears in the night forest, escorting the hapless fishermen back to their home. If you liked this story, like it, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next story.